degrees, no rain in the forecast, and $667 in the Telefriend jackpot. And I'm talking now to Metro Media recording artist Mel Street. Hi, Mel.
How are you?
Oh, just fine. And we were discussing a little bit the Stringbean thing down there. That's quite a tragedy. I guess that's put kind of a pall over the entire city of Nashville, hasn't
Oh,
it?
it has, and everybody's talking about it, and we just can't understand how something like this could happen. But I just watched the news broadcast where Grandpa Jones was sitting and talking about String, talking about how much money he carried on him and so forth, and how he, how generous he was and everything. And it's kind of appalling to think that a man like this could come to this end.
Yeah, it is. A guy especially, and Stan Hitchcock and I were talking about this because Stringbean kind of almost raised him and got him in the music business, and he said, it's strange. The guy didn't do anything but bring happiness and laughter to people. He's always been a comedian, and even a comedian in his music a lot.
Right.
And started so many people in the music business that violence this way would end his life.
Yeah, and he was a man who loved to fish and hunt and seemed to enjoy his family, his wife and his family, and he lived out in a kind of a suburban community and lived in a modest little home, right out in the wilderness.
That's a strange story, too, Mel Street. It seems that Stringbean had just finished, not too long ago, remodeling a brand new place. I mean,
yeah,
not
right
brand,
beside of his, yeah.
but didn't move into it because he liked the old place. Three or four rooms, and just kind of stayed.
Now that's a man you have to admire.
Yeah.
Who liked who liked his home for it being home, and he just didn't care if he moved in a new home or not. He was comfortable right where he was.
Now the entire nation's going to be saddened by his loss, and I'm sure it has put kind of a blanket over Nashville. I know Stan Hitchcock finally said that afternoon. He said, "Well, he and Ray Pellow said we've got a performance to do tonight, and we're going to have to put this out of our minds. So let's don't talk about it anymore."
Right.
And we didn't.
Stringbean used to come up at the Opry. Every time I was on the Opry, Stringbean would come up and talk to us, and my wife was recalling an instant where he come up and said, "Hey, listen to this." And so he'd play a banjo and he'd be a serenader, right there behind the Opry stage. All the ladies, he was just fantastic. He was a great person.
Let's listen to you sing, Mel Street.
Right.
The Town Where You Live. Mel Street on our Telephone to the Stars.
Great.
Mel Street, The Town Where You Live. And Mel, you wrote that song, right?
Yes, I did. That was a song that I wrote in a truck stop right outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh.
I was going west. I was going to do a show out there, and these two truck drivers were sitting side by side, and they started talking, and I got the idea from what they were saying to write that song.
It's unusual how ideas come to you that way.
It really is.
The press on you, and sometimes we blow the press right out of the saddle because they write so many different things about entertainment personalities.
Right.
And the press, they've got a big thing about making you the paint and body man right up until the time that Borrowed Angel came out. But you were singing, weren't you singing at night and banging out dents in the daytime?
Well, yeah, I was singing a long time before that. In fact, I was singing years before that. I used to work as a construction crew with a Highline construction outfit.
Oh, I see.
And that's what was up in Ohio and in High Point, North Carolina.
Are you originally from West Virginia?
No, Grundy, Virginia is where I was born.
I see. Well, where does Bluefield come in?
Well, I came back to Bluefield because of a television show that I wanted to put together. So I came back to Bluefield and put a TV show on the air called Country Showcase.
I see. Well, that's where your press starts. It starts in Bluefield, so what you've told us about your past before that is all brand new.
Well, the story kind of leaves out, leaves most of the important things out. Bluefield was just a small part of the story. Of course, I worked up in Niagara Falls, New York for a couple of years in clubs, about 3 years, as a matter of fact. And just moved back to Bluefield because of the television show.
Well, that's good to bring out because it hadn't been told before. Mel Street is on our Telephone to the Stars. Mel, have you put together a road band, or are you still just playing it as a single out on the road?
Well, I'm still playing as a single right now, but my manager was down last week, and we were discussing and it's in the very near future. I'd say within a very few months, we're going to have our band, and we're already pricing a bus and so forth. So it looks like we're going to be on. We're going to go the direction that a lot of them went, and just go ahead and get the band and the bus.
Do you have any idea what you're going to call the band?
No, it's been discussed, but my manager come up with the idea that we call them the Borrowed Angels.
The Borrowed Angels is not bad, because that was certainly a big smash hit song for you and a #1 song here at WIL.
Thank you a lot. You know, really played our records well up there.
Well, the people wanted it. They wanted to hear that song, and they want to hear all of yours.
Well, I appreciate that.
And they come along, you know, and all of a sudden they start, like I say, they start kind of slow, and you begin to hear Mel Street, and then all of a sudden you begin to hear it more and more, and the first thing you know, it's up there in the charts.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure your new one's going to be. When you come to St. Louis, and you've been in one before, I was riding around in one of those man limousines today. You remember that?
Yes, we played a show up there with Merle Haggard, and we flew in on Dick Blake's plane. You know, our agency's got a couple of private planes.
Right.
And they picked us up in one of those new Cadillacs, and it was absolutely beautiful. I think Crash Craddock and I rode one of those Cadillacs.
Oh yeah, Crash has got more time in those limousines, I think, than the drivers have.
Crash is a fantastic person.
These cars have been just for, like I was telling a while ago, have been just for entertainment personalities. But he's increased that fleet. It's Jed Cadillac man limousine service, and now the public can call at 291-3432, and that's their number, and take advantage of this limousine service with a driver, a security chauffeur. Those cars are about $21,000 worth of automobile, you know.
And they're fantastic. The carpet is so thick in the back seat that you feel like you feel like you're in your living room.
Yeah, it's a bearskin rug back there.
Right.
I just kicked off my shoes today. I was riding around. He told me, he said, you got to do this every now and then, you know. So he put me in the back seat with the prettiest little girl you ever saw, who I go with.
His daughter?
And no, it's an airline hostess that I date. And we ran over to a place and had lunch. And I took my shoes off. He said, just dig your feet into that rug. Well, Lynn Anderson had already said on the phone that's what she did. So I thought,
great.
well, all right, I'll just try this out. And, man, that was good.
Right. Well, they really was nice to us. And they met us over at the airport and took us over to the Holiday Inn, and they were just fantastic all the way through.
Oh, we have a real good time.
Right.
When and a lot of the artists remember this when they come to St. Louis, they'll go home and they'll say, boy, you've never seen such an automobile in your life. It drove out there in this limousine. Everybody thought that it was a president or somebody coming in, you know, and the flags are flying. It's a lot of fun. What about your future, Mel? Are you going on the road? You going on the street, Mel Street?
Well, no, we've been on the road. We've been playing clubs, and well, of course, that Merle Haggard tour was 22 days. And we've done a tour with George and Tammy since then. We've been playing with Loretta and Conway.
George wrote the album liner for you.
And wasn't that something?
Yeah, that's a good liner too, George
and
Jones.
I would take $1 million for it.
He said some great things, and of course everything that he said is just right on as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I appreciate that. George and Tammy have become good friends of ours since we've been here, and George is just a fantastic singer.
Let's listen to Mel Street again, okay?
Okay.
Walk Softly on the Bridges has got to be one of the best. Dallas Frazier write that?
Yes, he did, and Dallas is a fantastic writer. It just about knocked my hat in the creek when I first heard his song.
Sounded like that's the way you sang it, too.
Called Walk Softly on the Bridges.
WIL, Walter Vaughn Show, 1027. You're on time, 58 degrees. I guess the weather at Mel Street in Nashville is about the same as it is here. It's about 58 down there.
58 degrees. I think it's 51 degrees here.
Isn't that strange? It always was strange to me that Nashville has a colder winter, and yet you're south of us than St. Louis does.
Yeah, but it's a little bit cooler in Chattanooga than it is here. I was just watching the weather forecast. I think the storm sweeps south, and we get just about the middle of the storm.
Yeah, because when I was there last January, you'd had 6 inches of snow on the ground. It was laying all over Opryland. That's when I did that broadcast down there back to St. Louis.
I remember that. I was flying in from Atlanta to do a session that night.
What about television, Mel Street? We're going to see you on the TV tube before long?
Well, I think, I don't know if it's played back there or not, but we did the Merv Griffin show out in Hollywood a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's on here. I don't know whether your show has been on yet or not.
I'm not sure. It's played back here in Nashville already, but I'm not sure if it's played back in St. Louis or not. And of course, I did the title song on the new Dusty's Trail, that new comedy western that's on.
Oh, you did?
Right.
What is that song called?
It's called Dusty's Trail, and Forrest Tucker and Bob Denver stars in it.
Somebody was telling us, I think it was, may have been Ferlin Husky, was telling us about a movie about a bootlegger of some kind that he made, and you've got a song in your album called Moonshine Man.
Right. I wrote that a few years back. There was a guy that lived right out beside us up in West Virginia that made moonshine in an old coal mine. And it's a true song.
He made it in an old coal mine?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And he told me, he said, never mention his name. So
he's still active, right?
He's still active, I guess. So I never mentioned his name. I reckon he's still operating.
They had an entire article in Country Music Magazine one time on moonshine. They even gave some recipes in there, and told how to. Yeah, right. You could take that article and go in the moonshine business because they told you how to put together a still, and what to use in it.
Well,
potatoes and whatever.
If they need any advice, I know how to put them together because I've seen enough of them.
Yeah, you were from over there in that part of the country, right?
Yeah.
Are you from the same part of the country the Statler brothers are from?
Well, no, they're about 90 miles. They're from over in Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, I see.
And of course, Grundy and Bluefield's way back, getting into pretty deep in the hills.
Back in the hills.
I think Loretta Lynn was born right across the hill from where I lived. She was in Kentucky, and I was born in Virginia.
I notice now as we approach the brand new Mel Street song that everybody is really liking, that you had a hand in writing it also. You're doing some writing, heavy writing lately,
Well, I
Mel Street.
appreciate that. This song is really looking like it might be the biggest thing we've ever had. It's really climbing up some charts, like down in I can't think of the name of the place now, but in Louisville. It went up to number 6 in about 3 weeks.
On its way.
And
well, that's the way Louisville is. They race down there, you know.
And in Richmond, I think it's number 10 this week, and it's only been out 3 weeks.
You and I see some familiar names there. You and Eddie Rabbit and Dick Hurd all got together.
Fantastic writer.
We have a lot of fun with the songwriting thing, right?
Oh, I do. I write a lot, and I try to write things, about things that I know about. But
is that what brought on? There's a song in your album also called "Body Man." We talked about that.
Yeah, that was part of an inspiration of mine.
That's probably going to be a song that a lot of people are going to listen to, but I don't know how much it'll be played on the air.
Well, they've been playing it quite a bit here in Nashville. WSM's playing it a lot.
"Body Man" out of the album.
Yeah, they are.
It's a cute song, all right.
Thank you.
Well, now then, what is out there in the future? Are you out on the road again, or heading for some more television appearances, or
Well, we're going to do a tour through Texas, clubs and package shows and so forth. I'm playing the Houston Astrodome December the 1st, and we got a pretty good extensive tour in Texas, and just keep writing and try to get hit records out.
Grind those hit records out. There's something else too, and we like to make note of any of our local talent that has anything to do with music or the music business, and we have a master photographer here in the area by the name of Ralph Graveman, and I just happened to notice that he did the album cover on your new album.
Yeah, not only that, I think he's done both of our album covers. We got a new cover come out on Borrowed Angel album. Mm-hmm. And Graveman has done both of our album covers. He's a fantastic photographer.
He's an artist with color. And
and every time we do a show there, he's there taking pictures, and he's a really hard-working man.
He's quite a guy and a real artist.
And he's a real artist.
He's done a couple of Johnny Cash albums. He's done yours, and there's some more. Every now and then I look on an album. It says photography Graveman East Alton. You know.
And he puts your pictures on these wooden plaques. I was in the office the other day, and I seen one of Ray Price and one of Barbara Fairchild where he done.
Yeah, Ray Price he said something about that the other day. That the man
he really done a good job on those.
What about "Love It on Borrowed Time," Mel Street? We're going to listen to that and say good night to you and say hello to the family for us, and we'll look forward to having you on the Telephone to the Stars again very soon.
Well, it's real nice to talk to you, and I've just enjoyed this thoroughly.
We'll get you on stage here in St. Louis and let you tell all the people hello. Right face to face, okay?
Well, thank you a lot. You've been really nice.
Mel Street, here's "Love It on Borrowed Time." Thanks for being with us.
Right.